Welcome into the In the Money podcast for KeenelandSelect.com for closing day, Saturday, October 28th. Tom Leach and Jim Goodman, Keeneland's Director of Mutuals and Simulcasting. We'll start out by taking a look at the stakes race, the Grade 2 Hagyard-Fayette Stakes. Mile and an eighth. I always like this race because you get some good older horses, and then you usually get 1, 2, or 3 3-year-olds that will be challenging the older horses, and that's what we've got here with McCracken and Giuseppe the Great representing the 3-year-olds. So where did you land in the Fayette?
Yeah, this time of year, the 3-year-olds versus a 4-year-old, not that much difference, I don't think. And I'd love to pick McCracken in this race. I've loved him all year long. I thought he was the best horse coming out of the Bluegrass, and he came back and won the Matt Winn at Churchill, but he really got beat a nose in Haskell. I mean, he was a great horse, and then he took a step back in the Travers. I don't think he likes the mile and a quarter very much, and so this is a mile and eighth, probably suits him. I'd like to pick him, and I'm going to pick him as my second choice, but I went with Honorable Duty off those 2 really good races at Churchill, and going back to New Orleans where he ran a 105 in the New Orleans Handicap, and he just seems to be really good right now, and he ran in the Stephen Foster and wasn't, it's not embarrassing to get beat by Gunrunner with a 100 buyer. I think Gunrunner that day ran a 115 or something. So I'm going to take Honorable Duty on top of McCracken. I can make a case for the player. I can make a real good case for Neolithic, who ran 11 behind Gunrunner in the Woodward. Giuseppe the Great might not be a bad bet to clunk up for third or fourth, I think. He just seems to get always a piece of it to pay Nick Zito's feed bills. He's won $430,000, only one lifetime win. So he's placed in a lot of really good races. So I think keying him at 15-1 below a couple of favorites might be a value play for you. But the Hagyard Fayette, I think, goes through Honorable Duty and McCracken. I'd like to see McCracken win, but I think Honorable Duty's got a little edge on him.
I will acknowledge it's probably foolish to pick against Honorable Duty. I'm going to do it for 2 reasons. One, he's going to be a low price, and 2, I just don't like that his numbers aren't that much better than this group for the price that he'll be is kind of the thinking. So I'm going to try to find somebody else to play, and I ended up on Giuseppe the Great. It's not a strong win opinion for sure, but I think he could win, and if he could get second, you could really get a nice exacta. This horse really ran well in his only start at Keeneland. He's trained well since coming back here. He has kept very good company. I mean, there's nobody as good as West Coast, I don't think, in this race, and that's who he's run against the last 2 times. And he hadn't been embarrassed in those. He was third in the Pennsylvania Derby last time and was finishing well. So if he can get a little pace, and he should get a good trip from the inside, I think that 15-1, and you think there's a good chance you'll probably get every bit of that. I'm going to try Giuseppe the Great. Certainly use him with Honorable Duty, use him with the player, use him with Malibu Pro, I think, is just on the chance that 102 buyer is legit from Canterbury. The way those things work, it's supposed to be, so we'll see. And then you could also put him with McCracken and the 2 3-year-olds. I'm not as high on McCracken, but I will say, talking to Ian Wilkes, he said this is a race that they plan to move forward to the Clark Handicap, so they're aiming high with him, and he loves Churchill Downs. So Giuseppe the Great for me in here, hoping he could be just as happy if he runs second as first, because I think it could be a nice exacta. So look at the late pick 4, starts in the 7th race. I ended up picking Mr. Cub in here. Had a good win at Keeneland last fall, and had a 91 buyer at Kentucky Downs on the 6th, and then held his own in a stakes race. So I like that one, but also like Annihilator off the layoff, or Niliator, I guess it is. The Ramsey entry, Bingo Kitten and Gorgeous Kitten, and Bellomore just off that 92 buyer fig I'm going to throw in as well. 8th race, I'm going to use Tarquinia as the win pick. I think you throw out the last, and the previous 2 are really good. Nequa, the 9, Char Run, the 2. Long layoff, though, is a question mark on that one. But I'm going to use all 3 of those. In the Fayette, I'm going to use all the ones I mentioned, including McCracken, the 1, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then in the last race, I'm going to use Into Summer and Defrock. And Into Summer, I think, lost to a good one. Proud Reunion runs on Friday. If Proud Reunion runs big, that makes Into Summer look even better. So Into Summer's the one I like, but I'm also going to use Defrock. And if you could go one more, Well Humored for Delacour. First time turf could be interesting in here, but I'm going to stick with 5 and 9 for the main picks here. How about you in the late pick 4?
We're pretty close on the pick 4. I like Mr. Cub as well in the 7th as my top pick, but I was going to go deep in here. I've got kind of an odd ticket. I don't have a single. I don't have a strong opinion in any race, and so I'm going to spread and try to spend a little money and try to get lucky. I'm going to use the 5-horse Mr. Cub as my top pick in the first leg, but I'm also going to use the 8 Zulu Alpha and the 2 that you mentioned, Bellamore, for Lachinko. So 3 horses there. I'm going to use the 1, 2, 5 in the 8th, Tarquinia. Char-Ren is my top choice because I do understand about the layoff, but she ran right behind, or she beat Miss Kentucky, who came back and won here very easily on Thursday. So Miss Kentucky was very impressive, and Char-Ren runs that race back off a long layoff. I think she's going to be tough. And then I would also use Fun for Ian Wilkes at a price, simply because I go back to the Alcibiades last year, and she ran really well here. Got beat by Dancing Rags and Daysville Darling only by 3 lengths, and there's nothing like that in this field. So if she truly loves Keeneland, I think she's got a shot at 10-1. So I'm going to use those 3 in the second leg. I'm going to use the 3 horses I talked about in the Fayette with Neolithic, the 2, Honorable Duty, the 5, and McCracken, the 6. And then the last leg, I'm going to go same horse as you did. I think 2, 5, 9, Well Humored into Summer would be my top pick as well, and the Frock. I might even add the 6 horse in there, Market Top, at a 20-1 price for B.J. Hernandez. A pretty impressive race last time out at 50,000 claiming, and Brian Williamson claimed him off that, and he's had some success with first-time trainees or first-time claimers. So I'm going to go 2-8-5 with 1-2-5 with 2-5-6 with 2-5-6-9. It's a little more than I was intending to spend, but it's $54 ticket, I think. So it's not terribly expensive. I didn't go real deep in any races.
It's your get-out day for the fall meet. If you're in the hole, you can get even on closing day and get ready for Breeders' Cup next week. And we'll have multiple podcasts next week taking a look at the Breeders' Cup card.
Well, and let's remember, Tom, that everything's a mandatory payout on Saturday.
So great point.
The Pick 5, the Pick 6, and the Super High 5. So if there are carryovers, it's going to be a bargain because they will be paid out on the last day of the live meet.
And as we tape this, there is a carryover on one of those going into the Friday card, right?
There is a $98,000 carryover into the Pick 5, so if we were to get lucky enough to have another carryover on Friday, it could be huge, $300,000, $400,000 going into the last day. And there's also a $12,000 carryover the Super High 5.
So watch for those, and best of luck with your wagers on the Saturday card. For Jim Goodman, I'm Tom Leach, and this has been the In the Money Podcast for KeenelandSelect.com.